Hello, breeders. It is I, Piggy, and I am joined by Mr. Bubbles. But Mr. Bugs. Sorry, Mr. Bugs. I keep calling him Bubbles for some reason.
Bubs.
And I'm also joined by Ash. Let me just actually put the cameras on about now. There you go. He will be in the corner for the rest of this video. And I just need to pause very quickly. Yes, and we are back. Sorry, that was just a little break I had to take. He's going to be in the corner for the rest of this video. So let me just shrink him down. So yeah, this is Judgment Day. Say hello, Ash.
Hello.
He's here. Right. So do you
That's
want
my
some?
general attitudes towards Judgment Day. A show that it's unapologetically WWE, but depending on your view on WWE, is that positive or is it negative? You know, what do you decide?
Well, you have to choose your Judgment Day. Funny enough, I want to mention is so Kane's on the poster of Judgment Day 2007, right? Yeah, it's May 20th, right? Yeah, it is May 20th. Just making sure. And he's on the poster for Judgment Day, right? But he's not actually on the show. He's only in the dark match.
No. Yeah.
He's in the dark match,
when R-Truth had that fucking Hell in a Cell promo picture. Remember that one?
Which one?
I swear R-Truth had a Hell in a Cell poster.
Yeah, oh yeah, but Miz in like 2011.
There we go. Here's a picture of him in a little weird suit.
Oh yes. Oh, let me just drag this in here. Here's R-Truth. Here's R-Truth poster, just so people can see. Let me just obviously
They just
crop
have
it.
to know what they're getting when they. To be fair, you look at other pictures. I feel like the Kane picture's the most interesting one because obviously it's hell, it's Inferno, but then the actual one just has a bunch of the wrestlers on the cover like ECW champion Vince.
There we go. There's
which
two.
Is a choice.
There's just.
It is certainly a choice.
There's the two. There's the two fucking posters there. Kane, and then there's the R-Truth one there. But yes, so the dark match, right? Which you probably already have the results up, but pretend to be sure.
No, I don't. I've forgotten them.
So do you know who Kane takes on? He takes on William Regal in the dark match. I don't mean to like be mean about this, but if that is your dark match opener, like the one for the crowd,
I'm leaving before it's over. Nah, I love Regal, but if it was anybody other than Regal, I'd be leaving. Fuck you.
I don't even think
this is what you're doing to me. This is what I'm having to sit through.
Could Regal though even make Kane have a good match in 07? I don't think he could.
Kane's not a terrible wrestler, like.
Yeah, but he's definitely past
He's
his
obviously tainted now.
Yeah, but I mean more so. I think he's like at this point
he does wrestle the same matches at this point in time.
Yeah, it's what I'm trying to get at. Like even if there is Kane, I will just turn off that gif because he is staring at me. But there is Kane enjoyers. Like I don't mind if you're a Kane enjoyer. I just think 1997 peak of his run, or 1998 I should say, and obviously most of the Attitude Era he has a decent run. And then the next great bit about him is when he unmasked, which initially is fun. And then they just put him in a feud with Shane McMahon, which is very weird. Because it's like, oh, Kane's a badass heel. Who's he taking on? Shane McMahon. Okay. Because you think you'd put him against like someone who's actually a wrestler. But yeah. And let's just ignore the Katie fake stuff. That's a weird time period. And yeah. So yeah, that is the dark match. But coming up first is to open the crowd. So to get the crowd excited, do we put on Benoit and MVP, an actual match to get the crowd pumped up? Do we put on the Hardy Boys, Matt and Jeff versus Lance Cade and Trevor Murdoch? Or do we put on Punk versus Elijah Burke? Or even Orton and Michaels? No, fuck that. Why would you want to put that match on when you can open up with Ric Flair taking on Carlito? And this match goes for 15 minutes. And
I don't
I
know why they decided to do that. As an aside, why? Like, it's not even Ric Flair's because in his last run, doesn't he start wrestling and go the last match? When you lose, you retire.
yeah,
But he's not even doing that yet.
no.
So he's just doing this for shits and giggles.
But
So why the fuck? I just like look. Ric Flair is a legend, of course. But fuck off. Why am I watching a 15-minute Ric Flair match in 2006?
see, I don't mind this match because this match, like, they know Ric Flair is not really capable of 85 Flair. Like, he's not the same Flair from like 20 years prior. So they do essentially go, we're just going to kick the shit out of each other. Which ideally is fun, but then you have to remember it's Carlito. And then you go, okay, it is Carlito, so, it's kind of okay. But it does end with Flair. I believe he does hit a submission.
Does it go anywhere?
Ah. Are you ready to see this match at One Night Stand again? I don't know if it will happen at One Night Stand, but that is the following pay-per-view. Because if people don't know, there's 2 pay-per-views in June. There's One Night Stand, and then obviously, I think it's Night of Champions, but yes, so One Night Stand is the first one. So yeah, up next. Guys, I have nothing on this match. Do you have anything on this match?
The most interesting bit about this match for me was the fact that I cracked open some digestive biscuits and started dipping it in my coffee. And yeah, that's all I have to say about this fucking match. Look, it's cool. Look, it kind of raises Carlito's game. Should Carlito have beaten Ric Flair in 2006? Yes. But maybe it leads to more. So yeah, that's all you're getting. That's it.
Up next is Bobby Lashley, and he takes on Umaga, Shane, and Vince McMahon in a handicap match. Yeah, in the 3-on-1 handicap match. Now, immediately, this match only lasts a minute. But what I love about this, which is just very funny, is obviously Bobby Lashley beats the shit out of Shane, throws Umaga out of the ring, because you don't want Umaga losing a sense, because he is
He still beat fuck out of him.
Yeah, but you don't want to pin him, is what I'm saying. Not to disrespect, you can disrespect Vince all you want because of hindsight. But when you look at it at the match layout and you're trying to figure out who it's the pin, it's not going to be Umaga. It has to be the 2 people who are famously not wrestlers, in my opinion. Because you don't want to go, all right, Shane's in this match, but you're not taking the pin, Shane. It's Umaga. You want to kind of give it to someone who's not really a wrestler, if that makes sense. I might be looking at that stupidly, but that's just how I see it or perceive it. It's just you kind of give the pin to someone who actually isn't a wrestler. So yeah, he basically beats Umaga up and then throws him out of the ring, and then power slams Shane and wins the match, and wins the title. And Vince goes, "Hey pal, you actually didn't win the belt because all you have to pin me to win the belt." So.
This is like playing a board game with the kid you don't hang out from school very often because he's an only child and gets lonely. And this is what happens when you win in his favorite board game. So no. But if you read the rules, it wasn't actually a world title match. So I still win. It's like, oh yeah, sound good job, Jeremy, you twat. And that's basically this match, really. Bobby Lashley wins, but he doesn't win the belt because Vince goes, "No, it's my belt." I still really think they should. I still want a wrestler to do it where you get a custom title belt made and you change the naming of it, and then obviously you defend that belt, and then essentially that belt's not actually a legally recognized world title. So it's like, oh, you beat me. Oh, well, good job. You won that shit belt that doesn't count. I'm still the world champion. Fuck you. I still think that would be fun as fuck.
Yeah, that would be a cool concept. I honestly do think it would be cool. And for some reason, right, the next match goes for 16 minutes and 51 seconds. It's nearly 17 minutes. And it's CM Punk. It's fair enough. But again, this is 07 CM Punk, so... Takes on Elijah Burke. in 16 minutes, 51 seconds. Nothing of noteworthy happens. It's basically Elijah Burke is beating Punk's ribs up until he can't really. And then he goes for the
I mean, it's
Elijah.
the simple matter of fact of maybe at this point Vince went, "Hey, Punk's actually quite good." Between that and the Survivor Series appearance, he's probably at this point in time the wheels are probably turning and being like, maybe there's something there.
Yeah. But will he
Not
get
with
that?
Elijah Burke though. He's fucking garbage in WWE.
But will Punk get his world title, that is ECW world title, in the next couple of months? I can't say yes and I can't say no. You'll have to find out if he does. Spoiler: he doesn't. So yeah, basically Elijah goes for the Elijah. I think he goes with the Elijah experience or the Elijah Express, and then like the
I think
knees
the
into
experience is this weird
knee
like face buster thing.
knees
Elijah
to.
Riggs, I don't know who the fuck
He
knows.
goes for the knees
Who
into.
cares? He doesn't fucking do it, does he?
He goes to hit him with the knees to the back. Obviously, Punk moves. Punk hits the GTS, wins the match. 16:51. It's an all right match. Nothing to
Not sure why it
say.
got so much time.
Yeah. What I will say about this match is I'm actually glad ECW are getting more than one match representation. Even if it is a shit match, it's still good they're getting a bit more representation than just Vince, Umaga, Shane, and Lashley. It
I
is
mean,
nice that you give it to a second one. Will it
the
entice
weird
people?
bit about this show is just the simple fact that they swung with what they had, and I mean, let's be real, the pieces here aren't tremendous. Like, some of them are because as we'll get into, like Sean Randy, you get fucking Edge Batista, but it's just the lesser matches just they do feel lesser. They don't feel nearly as important, and it's like on a show with fucking Edge and Batista and Randy Orton, Sean. Obviously, Randy Sean's a story match. It's not an actual match. You go, why the fuck is Carlito and Ric Flair and Punk and Elijah Burke getting 16 minutes apiece? It's just weirdly paced. Like the stuff you expect to get a lot of time gets or the stuff you expect to get a lot of time gets no time, and the stuff that you expect to get 5 minutes gets fucking triple.
It's the harsh reality. But again, like I said, I do like the representation that they are giving it a bit more. I don't think it'll entice people to watch ECW. I think if you kind of wanted people to watch WCW, you could have kind of like, what's the word I'm looking for? You kind of been like, hey, this is what happened on ECW, and actually make it worthwhile if you actually show people. Like as a person who's watching this ECW with Ash weekly, you can see, well, not weekly, but every couple of weeks. You can see what's working and what's not working, and very clearly the Elijah experience is not really working because the ECW crowds don't give a shit. They really don't, and it's a harsh reality, sadly, that even a year into this run, ECW is dead in the water. But who knows? So I guess I'll move on to the next match, unless you have anything to add.
Yeah, it's just the weird state of play where the weirdest bit about ECW is the fact that most of the biggest segments happen on Raw,
Yeah,
which is so puzzling to me because, like, yeah, sure, if you're watching WWE, especially at this time as well, you do at least have some allegiance to a brand. You're not watching it all, mostly. You mostly just have your show that you watch. At least, that's at least how I always watch wrestling. It's kind of you have the shit you have the show you like, you have the wrestlers you like, and you typically go for that. But the weirdest bit is why you setting up segments for ECW on Raw, not ECW. So then on ECW, we're having to watch recaps of the segments that happened on Raw. Have it happen on ECW. It actually make things feel like they're changing on the fucking show, but they're not because you want to have it on Raw. I just don't get it. It's so weird.
I see. I agree with you, but I understand why they put most of the segments on Raw. And the simple matter of fact is, Raw is the bigger like brand in a sense. Then both
Yeah,
SmackDown.
but people who watch Raw don't want to watch this shit.
No, I know. No, I know. I generally know. I agree with you. But what I'm saying is, if I'm going by Vince's logic, which you shouldn't, but if you're going by his logic, it's clearly no one gives a shit about ECW. Put the segment on Raw, but people will actually watch it. You know, because sci-fi don't give a shit. Well, I'd assume they don't really give a shit, and whatever brand SmackDown's on, no one really is watching SmackDown. If you had to choose between Raw, SmackDown, or ECW, it's going to go Raw, then SmackDown, then ECW. It's not going to go ECW, SmackDown, Raw, because no one gives an actual flying shit about ECW apart from us 20 years on. And I don't want to be mean about it, but that's just honestly the truth. No one at this time gave a shit about ECW, even though I think it's the best bit about WWE at this current time. This yeah. So yeah. Will I move on or?
Yeah, nothing else.
All right, fair enough.
Oh wait,
So
oh yeah, we were talking about the fucking Vince match. Yeah, it's just harder to look at this sort of stuff with hindsight and realize, yes, this does go nowhere. Like at the end of the day, this whole Vince arc with the ECW title, it does just piss all over ECW. You aren't actually because what does Bobby Lashley go to Raw or something? Like what?
I
Why is
believe,
he
and I
doesn't?
might be
Or does
wrong.
it just gets vacated or something?
I believe, and I might be wrong. I believe Bobby Lashley wins it back at one night stand. Spoiler, by the way. And then the following night they do a draft lottery. This might be at the end of May or the start of June. They do a draft lottery, and he's drafted to Raw, so the belt's vacated. And then Benoit and Punk are in tournaments on ECW, and then leading up to Night of Champions or whatever that pay per view is. Obviously, the final match is for the ECW Championship, which is Benoit versus Punk, which we'll talk about when we get to that pay per view, which I'm looking forward, but not looking forward to watching and reviewing. But yes, that's what happens. There is no real payoff to the Vince McMahon like stuff, because he drops the belt to Lashley and then he blows up in a limo. But then they have to retcon that because you know, you know, and then it just so from there, it then dives into Vince's illegitimate son, which that doesn't go anywhere because the sole person who was supposed to get that got wellness tested and violated it. So it goes to Hornswoggle. So yeah, you're right. Nothing happens with this arc of ECW because it just pisses all over the brand. It doesn't get people to watch, and there's no payoff, because we can say that 20 years later there is absolutely no payoff, and the payoff that you do get, it sadly just doesn't happen. That's the sad truth about it. So yeah, um,
So Vince just fucking just pisses all over ECW,
essentially,
and you just have to deal with it. Just have to
basically,
deal with
yeah,
it. I mean, to be fair, do we know when it actually swaps to like the actual the rebranding of ECW? Do you know when it basically ends? Is it soon, or is
uh,
that more like 2008?
I think it's roughly '08. It's roughly '08 when we get the silver belt. Um,
Yeah.
that's roughly '08.
Which I still fucking hate that
Oh,
belt because you go, oh, it's platinum and platinum's more precious than gold. Yeah, it just looks silver though, doesn't it?
and you see, I don't know if they do it immediately following the whole thing that happens with ECW, the whole controversy. But ideally, if I am correct, it should happen immediately after Johnny Nitro, aka John Morrison, wins the belt. But I don't know that much. I just know when Chavo gets it at some point later in '07, early '08, and then and then it goes to Punk, and then
Chavo,
fucking
then Kane, then I think Mark Henry or some shit. Like,
yeah, and then Tommy Dreamer, then Christian, and then Ezekiel Jackson. Fuck yeah!
yeah.
But we have an entire we're getting ahead of ourselves. We have an entire fucking 10 months to get to that stuff. But I will move on to the next match. And honestly, I do want to say, even though I am shitting on '07, I am looking forward to doing '08 because '08 generally has some good storylines. Like again, Big Show, Mayweather. I know we'll only be watching the pay-per-views, which if anyone who's actually watched these videos, yes, the three pay-per-views me and Ferg did, the of '08 Rumble, No Way Out, and WrestleMania will be recovered. But when we get to 2010, because we did the Nexus podcast, they won't be recovered. Just to put it out there, if we eventually get to 2010, yes, just to let you know, just to lay the groundwork.
In about
Uh,
7 years.
7 years time, hopefully. But yeah, continuing on with the next match, which is Randy Orton takes on Shawn Michaels. Now, this match is story driven because Randy Randy Orton basically concusses Shawn Michaels because he does the punt to the head, the punt, the kick to the head, the running kick to the head, I should say. And earlier in the show, he rammed his head into some like steel beams, basically, some
Yeah.
like setup, which makes his concussion even worse. So Shawn physically cannot like he wants to wrestle, even though the doctor's like, Shawn, don't fucking wrestle, please. But Shawn's like, I'll be fine, I'll be fine. He comes out, he can barely walk. He's doing a great job. Like honestly, Shawn is doing a great job at like selling his injury. He gets in the ring. He's like, he's doing George Misanin from WrestleMania 35 with Shane. Where he's like, come on. And then Orton just beats the shit out of him, and Michaels can barely fight back. So obviously he is concussed in storyline. So the entire match is just Randy Orton beating up Shawn Michaels because Shawn Michaels has no way to fight back. Because he can't, and it ends by ref stoppage because it gets to a point where he's going to hit the Sweet Chin music, but he collapses and Orton basically celebrates. And then the ref is like, Orton, get away from him, get away from him, get away from him. And then as Shawn Michaels is trying to get up, and the referee's holding him, Orton basically grabs Shawn Michaels and RKO's him and like stands tall. And then I don't know what his wife is called, but Shawn's wife comes down to the ring. I don't know if it's actually his wife or just an extra, but I think it's actually his wife.
I assume it's his wife.
Yeah, I assume it's his like shoot wife. That might be a wrong phrasing, but like I'd assume it's his actual wife. Comes down and she sells the injury, and then obviously, as everyone says, the unhard voice comes out, which like, oh, I can't believe what Orton did, blah 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 blah. You have to sell basically what happened. It's great. Honestly,
I'm just fucking sick of wrestling. His shoot wife. Just his wife. It's just his fucking wife. Yeah, well, kayfabe, they're not married. Fuck off. Fuck off. Yeah, well, his shoot wife was there. Fuck off. What's wrong with you?
anything on this match, or well, whatever this match is.
Look, it's a cool storyline thing. But obviously with wrestling, I'm a bit of a nihilist, so I'm just like, what's the fucking point? But hey, maybe we'll see the payoff. I don't know if we will, to be honest.
Who knows? Up next is, because there's nothing on this match, so we can't really say anything. But up next is the Hardy Boys, Matthew and Jeffrey, taking on Lance Cade and Trevor Murdoch, for the World Tag Team Championships. And this match also goes 15 minutes and 3 seconds. So, this match
Which
is...
you will say, at this time, they are roughly trying to rebuild the scraps of the tag division. Where at least you could generally point to this time and say they were making the effort somewhat. They actually had proper tag teams and a lot of wrestlers who were tag team wrestlers as well. Like, like London Kendrick, you have Lance Cade, Trevor Murdoch, you still have Jeff and Matt. Like, they are trying to do the business. Now, obviously, the main issue with, just WWE and Tag Division is that they don't really seem to fuck with you unless you actually have a big name. So it just kind of, it's like, well, we could have Brian and Kendrick, but we could also have Randy Orton and Edge. And it's like, well, I know who's winning this battle then. Because I don't know if these guys need to have the gold. I'll be right. Look, this match is fine. I like Caden Murdoch. I like the combination. I think it works, but I just don't like watching Hardy's matches in the slightest. I'm sick of them completely. Like for being family, I still think somehow they have really shit chemistry. I don't even know. Like I don't know. But I just don't like them. It's like Tommy Dreamer. I'm never really gonna love the Hardys. I like Jeff's cool. I like Jeff. Don't like Matt all in the slightest. That's fine. But yeah, just fucking. I hope we never have to see him wrestle another tag match again.
But we will sadly. But no, I actually think Matt starts teaming with fucking MVP. Yeah,
Yeah. He starts feuding for the US title around this time.
yeah. Which we will get to in a minute. But then Edge takes on Batista. He defeats Batista in a match for 10 minutes. That went for 10 minutes and 38 seconds. An all right match. Nothing really happens in this match.
Nothing to write home about,
No.
really. It's just Edge has just cashed in the Money in the Bank. Is he the rightful champion? Not really, because he wins via like hitting a leg and rolling him up. So the story continues.
And up next, oh fuck, here we go, boys. MVP takes on the longest reigning. Well, he's not the longest reigning United States champion. But he takes on the US champion, Chris Benoit. In a best 2 out of 3 falls match, and yeah, it's generally one of the best matches on this card, if I can say that.
Yeah,
Generally
I
is.
mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
Just very back to the basics, really. It's very odd to see MVP beat Benoit in submissions.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's the kind of after their long ass feud, it does elevate MVP, which is the main point of this fucking storyline. So, in the kind of reshuffling where, as you mentioned, like the draft's coming up relatively soon. So it is just reshuffling the deck, trying to see who goes where. Plus, Benoit at this point, he'd been on SmackDown for fucking years, so
I
it was
can
about time to
probably
kind of
give you.
change it.
I can probably give you the rough estimate rundown. So he would have been on Raw before before the brand split. So he would have been on Raw as a competitor before there was a brand split from like 2000 to 2002. Then I believe him and Eddie were drafted in the '02 draft at SmackDown. They last until '04, and then obviously Benoit wins the Rumble. He goes to Raw to fight Triple H and Shawn Michaels, which everyone knows that. And then in '05 he returns to SmackDown and has basically been on SmackDown ever since then. So he's been here for 2+ years nearly. And yeah, so it's going to be interesting again to see how he works on ECW when we eventually get to him on ECW. But to give this match credit, MVP pins him twice and wins because they're working over Benoit's leg, because Benoit's leg is hurting him. So yeah, he pins him at 8 minutes and 14 seconds, and then pins him again 14-10 to win the match. So yeah, just nothing you can really say. Just a match. I recommend people
I
go
mean,
watch it.
it's the whole point of the show, really. The show is, I mean, I don't know. It's just to me, this feels like it kind of feels like a modern WWE pay per view where not much really happened, and even what did happen, it was just very strict by the numbers, bog standard, and it just fell. It never really got going, in my opinion, and that's kind of the biggest issue where you want it to be better, but it's just not that interesting. Like, what are the main headlines from this show? Everybody retained except for what Benoit.
Yeah,
That's it. So it's just we're just spinning the wheels just because it feels like they needed to fill an obligation, and maybe that's why our approach is like WWE's approach, where it's like fuck, we have to talk about this shit show. But it wasn't even that like glaringly bad. It's an okay show. It's perfectly average. If you're a big fan of the wrestlers at this time, you'll probably get way more kicks out of it than we do. But we've covered a lot of this time period shows as well. So I don't know. It feels like the buy-in should be there. It feels like we should give more of a shit. But I don't know. It's just not gelling for me.
don't
Like
worry.
it's just I don't know. The product just seems so lazy.
Don't worry.
Just like, do you want to see this happen again? No. Oh no, trust me. Remember, look, Vince has been really funny as ECW champion. I bet you want to see him get his comeuppance. Are you gonna wrestle? Nah. Is he even gonna do a move? Nah. Okay, cool. So he's not getting his comeuppance really. He's just losing a title belt that he clearly doesn't give a single solitary fuck about. Like, what the fuck? What am I supposed to take from this? ECW shit. The belt is held by the fucking chairman of WWE. Like, is Bobby Lashley my hero? No, because he doesn't give a shit about ECW either. He spends all his time on Raw. Like fucking, you're trying to launch a brand here, guys. You're trying to make it feel important. It's not. So if you're not actually gonna put in the effort to make it feel important, why the fuck are you doing it in the first place?
Yeah. Honestly,
You, know,
good.
you could say that for this whole fucking show. Like, just relentless, relentless. It never ends.
But don't worry, we're on the final match now,
And
man.
people say competition's bad.
TNA, TNA, TNA. Don't worry, we're on the final match now. As John Cena defeats Great Khali to retain the WWE title in 8 minutes and 15 seconds. An alright match. That's all. I've nothing to add to
Yep.
this. Nothing
Like, what's
happened.
the point? What's
Yeah,
even the point of this? Okay, so is Great Khali going to become world champion? No. Are they going to continue the push? Probably. So he's good, but he's not good enough to be world champion. How many more people are we going to sacrifice for this?
don't you worry.
But like, it's not even. And this is usually my biggest issue because they keep threatening the potential of what could be, but never actually deliver on it. Really. Where I get it, this time period, you were king making a lot of the wrestlers, you know? You are king making Randy Orton, John Cena. You are making these guys you know, you're trying to build them up as being elite, which through time and through the years, yeah, a lot of these wrestlers have become elite, and a lot of that probably does help of how big and bold and how dramatically overpushed at the behest of most of the other wrestlers this has been. But it doesn't really reflect at the time. Like I like Batista now. Still never want to see him wrestle. Like especially not this time period. I like Randy Orton now. I'm still not going to act like Randy was a good wrestler the entire time. Well, he was in a sense, but did he ever show it? Fuck off, no, he didn't. So it's just that disappointing. Just disappointing. It's kind of like yeah, it's just my sentiment of competition, right? Where WWE were just allowed to put out this shit for years, and people because they like some of they like some of the personalities and like some of the wrestlers, like, oh yeah, this is so cool, and then they put on like fucking Kane versus the Great Khali and expect us to be all like clapping, like this is not the same.
Yeah, I agree. And that is our thought on Judgment Day 2007. Join us next time. We're on the 50th edition of ECW. So yeah, see you next one. Bye bye. Bye bye.